The bold and the beautiful spoilers for Monday, August 4th suggest that Brooke Logan will make a disastrous decision, while Donna Logan receives a surprising phone call. Donna has missed her honey bear, while he has been away in Italy, so she may call Eric Forrester or accept a call from him. Donna is going to get updates on some surprising news over the phone. Eric is going to disclose that he observed Nick Marone with an engagement ring box and is concerned about a marriage proposal. Donna may lash out and force Eric to act before Nick can persuade Brooke to become his fiancée. Ridge Forrester will then attempt to speak with Brooke, but she appears to reject him and focus on her boat excursion with Nick. Ridge will go moping back to the hotel, where Eric will inform him of Nick's apparent plan to propose. Ridge will race down to the docks to find Brooke and put an end to this. Unfortunately, Brooke will make the disastrous decision to climb on the back of Nick's boat. It won't appear to be a safe scenario, especially when Nick begins driving wildly in response to Ridge's presence in the distance. This is all leading up to Brooke's terrifying fall, in which she will end up in the water and will need Ridge to save her. Meanwhile, John Finnegan will not give up on discovering what Grace Buckingham is hiding. Grace has been attempting to allay Finn's fears and persuade him to stand down, but it is plainly not working. The more Finn digs, the more trouble Grace will get into. B&B viewers should expect Grace to admit to a Liam Spencer tumor fraud shortly, so Finn's pressure will expose her bogus scans and phony surgery. According to the bold and the beautiful spoilers, there will be some shocking developments between August 4th and August 8th. Los Angeles may be a revolving door, with people entering the canvas, exiting and then returning. So who will be coming and leaving on the show in the following 5 days? Time to find out. Nick Marone's romances. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for the week of August 4th show that Jack Wagner will resume his role as Nick Marone. Nick returned in June and has been stirring the pot ever since. Of course, his character is in Italy romancing Brooke Logan and irritating Ridge Forrester. It appears that everything will come to a head during the next 5 days, as the CBS soap's promo depicts Nick jetting Brooke off on a boat while Ridge tries to stop them. It appears like Brooke and Nick are in danger. Ridge is probably more concerned about the blonde's safety than Marone's. In the promo, she's sitting on the edge of the watercraft carefree, while Ridge is losing his mind on land, so let's hope there isn't an accident that causes mayhem. Doctor's deception. Cassandra Creech will return to Los Angeles to continue her role as Dr. Grace Buckingham. B&B fans are aware of her deception regarding Liam Spencer's health and his brain tumor. But will the truth ever be revealed? Secrets don't last long in the arena of daytime dramas, so Grace is definitely living on borrowed time. Meanwhile, Bridget Forrester, my favorite fan, will get more airtime during the week of August 2nd, since the bold and the beautiful spoilers indicate that Ashley Jones will appear on canvas. Brooke sat on the side of her bed. The house's calm interrupted only by the soft ticking of the clock on her dresser. Outside, the wind blew through the trees, scraping the branches against her glass like skeletal fingers. She could still hear Ridge's voice in her head, calm, icy and distant. That tone, once so warm and intimate, had become a razor that slashed into her heart. She had made her decision, which she thought would salvage what little pride she had left, but the consequences left her feeling empty. The fingers gripped the edge of the cover, as if it could anchor her in this moment and keep her from floating away into the sea of regret. It hadn't been an easy decision, but she'd convinced herself it was necessary. When Ridge rushed away after their latest disagreement, she stared at the door, hoping he would return. He did not. So she did what she thought was the only thing left to do. She let him go. It was meant to be empowering, a reclaiming of oneself. Instead, it felt like the gradual breakdown of a tie she had cultivated over decades. Brooke was aware of the stereotypes about her. Impetuous, dramatic, and addicted to love. Maybe they were correct. Perhaps that is why this decision stung so deeply, because this time she acted with awareness rather than on instinct. And it still stung. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand and briefly lit up. A word from Hope. She could not bring herself to open it. Her daughter had been sympathetic, of course, but Brooke could see the concern in her eyes. Hope wanted her mother to be strong and resilient. Brooke tried to convey strength, but she felt brittle inside. She reached for her phone, only to put it down again without reading the message. She wasn't prepared to talk. Not yet. The harsh ring of the landline below interrupted the silence. She paused. Who even uses landlines anymore? Curiosity drew her from the bed. She walked down the stairs, her robe snugly wrapped around her, and picked up the receiver. Hello. Her voice was low and hesitant. Brooke, it's me, Donna. The sound of her sister's voice triggered a flood of emotions. Brooke closed her eyes and leaned against the wall. Donna, she said softly. I didn't expect. I know, Donna said kindly. I needed to call. I just learned what happened. Of course she did. News spread quickly in their environment, especially when it concerned the convoluted web of Forrester relationships. Brooke waited, unsure what Donna would say next. Brooke, her sister said. What were you thinking? There it was. Not judgment precisely, but concern mixed with disbelief. Brooke opened her eyes and looked down the dim hallway. I was thinking, she continued, that I couldn't continue doing it. Back and forth. The doubt. He gazed at me as if I were someone else. Someone he couldn't trust. Donna's silence on the other end was deafening. Then softly, but you've recovered from worse. So many times. Brooke gave a bitter laugh. Isn't that the problem? We always come back. It resembles muscle memory. But this time something felt different. As if he had already made a decision. And I simply gave him what he wanted. You think he wanted this? Donna's voice raised. You think Ridge wants to be without you? Brooke did not reply right away. She dropped to the bottom step, the phone still placed against her ear. I believe he wants peace. And I don't think I've given him that lately. Donna sighed. Perhaps not. But you adore him. You always have. I still do, Brooke said. Her voice crackled. But love isn't always enough. Donna stopped before speaking again, and her tone changed. It seemed less empathetic and more hurried, as if she needed to say something Brooke wouldn't like. There's something you need to know. Brooke sat up taller. What is it? I wasn't going to tell you, at least not yet. But now. You must hear it. Before it is too late. Brooke's heart started to rush. Tell me. There's another reason Ridge moved away from you. And it wasn't only the past, your arguments, or even Thomas. Brooke held her breath. It was Taylor. The name landed like a smack. Brooke closed her eyes again, determined not to overreact. She had suspected, of course. She was constantly suspicious. Taylor Hayes has been following her love story with Ridge for years, always watching and waiting. But she hadn't considered. They've been getting closer, Donna explained. Not just buddies. I overheard them in the workplace. The way he spoke to her, Brooke, wasn't innocent. Brooke's stomach turned. He didn't tell me, she stated bluntly. No, he would not. Not unless he had to. Anger erupted behind her ribs. Not just Ridge, but also herself. For trusting. Because they believed that this time would be different. Donna's voice softened again. I am not saying this to hurt you. I want you to know the entire truth. So you don't sit around blaming yourself for everything. Brooke stood, holding the phone in her palm. She moved carefully to the window, looking out at the black lawn. I'm tired, Donna, she remarked. I'm tired of the games. A triangle. The tug of war. I wanted to believe that we might finally have something true, free of Taylor's ghosts and the past. But perhaps that was foolish. You're not naive, Donna replied. You are hopeful. There is a difference. Brooke didn't respond. Her thoughts were like a hurricane. Come over, Donna said abruptly. Come stay with me tonight. You should not be alone. I appreciate it, Brooke said softly, but I need to sit with this. Just for a short while. There was a pause. Okay, but pledge to call if you need anything. I will. They said their goodbyes and Brooke hung up the phone. She stood in the quiet house, feeling the weight of everything on her shoulders. She had been fighting for Ridge for so long, through so many heartbreaks and betrayals. But tonight it seemed like the end of something. She entered the living room and cuddled up on the couch, wrapping a blanket about her knees. Her thoughts traveled back through years of recollections, both pleasant and bad. Ridge held her hand during their wedding. Ridge walks out the door. Kisses, disagreements, vows broken and rebuilt. They lived several lifetimes apart. Her phone vibrated again. This time she examined it. Another communication from Eric. Thinking about you. I realize this must be difficult. Call if you want to talk. Kindness and warmth. But even that couldn't relieve the pain. She laid the phone aside. Outside, the wind howled more loudly. It reflected the disarray in her heart. Hours have passed. Brooke drifted in and out of sleep, her nightmares disturbed by the sight of Ridge walking away, and Taylor's eyes staring back at her after years of rivalry. She awoke before dawn, with the first gray light of the day filtering through the curtains. Her body ached from sleeping on the couch, but she remained motionless. Not right away. She eventually up and prepared herself a cup of coffee, the motions being mechanical. She brought it outside to the terrace and sat down, pulling her sweater tighter about her. The garden was silent, and the flowers were laden with dew. Her thoughts reverted to Donna's comments. The way he spoke to her wasn't innocent. She did not want to believe it. But the indications had been there. The calm distance. Ridge's eyes lit up around Taylor in a way they hadn't recently. Perhaps she had simply refused to notice it. Yet, a part of her remained hopeful. Still held out hope that this wasn't the end. That he might wake up and understand what he had left behind. But all she had right now was stillness. The telephone rang again. She almost didn't answer. But something in her gut told her this call was important. Hello. This time it was Eric. His voice was soft. Brooke. I just spoke with Ridge. She sat up straighter. And he's confused. Angry. But he's also hurting. Brooke's throat clenched. Did he say anything about Taylor? Eric paused. Yes. But more than that, he mentioned you. He indicated he wasn't sure he could keep putting you, or himself, through the same anguish. Brooke gulped. Neither can I. I believe that, Eric said. However, I feel he still loves you. And sometimes love is buried beneath pride and fear. She did not respond. Her hand trembled slightly as she raised the coffee cup to her lips. Just don't make any decisions you can't undo, he said. Not while you're still in pain. I've already made my decision, she muttered. But you're not sure. Brooke gazed out across the garden. The sun was rising, spreading a golden glow over everything. No, she confessed. I'm not. Eric's voice was pleasant. Then give it time. You've experienced worse storms. Brooke hung up the phone a few minutes later, her heart torn between two realities. The yearning to go forward and the ache of what she might be leaving behind. For the time being, she would simply wait. Not for Ridge or reconciling, but for clarity. And perhaps in that calm, the appropriate route will reveal itself. Please let me know if you'd want to continue the story or explore another character's viewpoint.